Hey everyone, welcome back to Caroline Drinks Wine. Today I'm going to take you on a food and wine extravaganza to Maison Estate. So Maison Estate is based in Franschhoek, and the first thing that struck me when I walked towards the tasting room was how small the tasting room was. I don't know why, I was expecting something really grandiose. The next thing that struck me was how gorgeous the interior of the tasting room was. So they've really pulled out all the stops with the interior decoration, kind of quite Scandinavian in feel, you know, lots of wood, minimalistic, soft colors. They've got this beautiful lampshade made out of wine bottles and yeah, just absolutely stunning. Then you walk through to the restaurant, the kitchen, and there's a beautiful lawn. It's got this really dreamy, intimate, secluded setting, and you can walk right up to the Shiraz vines there as well. Anyway, the kitchen, which is the restaurant at Maison, they've recently released a new menu. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run through what we ate and then also talk about the wines that were paired with each individual course. We started off with asparagus that came with amasi, which is basically like a fermented milk, crayfish and trout roe, and we had this with their wooded Chenin Blanc, and yep, just so fresh, delicious. And actually this was a common theme that ran through all of the courses, was just how simplistic and fresh and clean the dishes were. What the chef Arno Janse van Rensburg is really going with at the kitchen is just simplicity, freshness, just really bringing everything back to basics. And you know, their tagline is food at its most fundamental. Next up, we had one of my favorite dishes of the whole proceedings, was a lightly cured swordfish sliced into extremely thin slivers, and this came on top of a bed of pickled cucumber with basil and ginger. And this was so wonderful with their gorgeous, full-bodied and buttery Chardonnay, which I featured in a video a couple of months ago, so I'll leave the link below so you can check that one out. Third course was a smoked Franschhoek trout that came with kimchi and fresh garden peas. So kimchi is a Korean dish. It's basically pickled cabbage, and for someone like me who adores anything fermented or sour, it was absolutely wonderful, and it goes brilliantly with the oiliness of the fish. And when I say fresh peas, I mean literally from the Maison garden and uncooked, which was quite a nice texture contrast to the trout and kimchi. So halfway there. The next was a beef course, but I don't eat meat, so they prepared for me this wonderful alternative. It was diced watermelon with grapefruit and aioli, and it came with a little bite-sized sourdough waffle as well. And they paired this wonderfully with their blanc de noir. So basically a blanc de noir, kind of like a rosé, except what they've done is made it from Shiraz grapes. But instead of having skin contact, which is one way to create a blanc de noir or rosé, they've simply put that wine inside old barrels that used to contain the red Shiraz. So that's where the color comes from, and I think that's really, really cool. And yeah, just beautiful, slightly floral, fruity, tiny little bit of tannins in there as well that I imagine would have gone really, really well with the beef, but went beautifully with watermelon as well. Okay, so 3 more courses to go. The next was literally a octopus tentacle, and it had a really nice sort of smoky char grill taste on the outside, and that went really, really well with the lime and coriander. And this was paired with their viognier, I believe. So final course before the dessert was so interesting. It was a dish of blueberries, fresh peas in a sort of kefir soup with little bits of cacao nibs in it. So it's kind of like a sort of transition dish towards the final sweet dessert. I think that was paired with the unwooded Chenin Blanc. And then the final dish. Now, I am not a chocolate fan at all, but I think this dish might have converted me to being a chocolate lover. So chocolate sponge cake, dark chocolate, obviously, and the chef has used something called koji. Koji is a culture that's often used to ferment soya beans, so to make soy sauce or to make miso paste. And so amid the sort of bittersweetness of the chocolate cake, you've also got these little nuggets of savouriness and saltiness, and I thought it was just the ultimate match. And then that was accompanied with dark chocolate sorbet, and that went so well with Maison's straw wine. So straw wine is a sweet wine, dessert wine, and the intensity of the sugar is created by drying the grapes out on straw mats before the grapes go into the winemaking process. So yeah, had a nice sort of hay-like taste, and yeah, just absolutely beautiful, really. Okay, your mouths are probably totally watering at this point in time. Let me know what you think of this video, and let me know which of those food and wine pairings you think sounds the most delicious. And if you do live in the Western Cape, please do yourself a favor and go down to Maison, book yourself a table at the kitchen. You will not be disappointed. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you next time.